into a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're unpanned. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Oh, my bad. I was just
You're
pondering.
back.
I was just pondering, everybody. So, $2.3 trillion missing September 10th, 2001. Something else was missing, though, for 5,000 years, and it may or may not have been discovered. But as you can see, scrolling at the bottom, a certain book might be truth. Welcome to Legacy News, episode 41. Has the Bible been fulfilled? I am the legacy of Jennifer and Kaiser. I'm Zachary Kaiser, and welcome in to Tuesday's edition of The Real Media.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Introduce yourself. You want
I
me to?
am Andrew Joseph, the
He's
Legacy
Andrew
Rights
Joseph.
Shovelware co-host.
So, this isn't the Legacy Ride. Legacy Ride is every Friday at 11 a.m.
This is Legacy
Eastern,
News.
live. Yeah.
You are.
And speaking of media, you got an interesting article from the Daily Mail.
I do.
Is it true? Is it true? Before we jump
Oh,
into
it's
it,
true. It's damn true.
Did they discover it?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Let's jump in.
Okay, hold on just a second.
What is this? A post for ants?
Has Noah's Ark been found? Boat-shaped mound in Turkey was underwater 5,000 years ago. Scientists say the same period as the biblical flood. According to the Bible, Noah's Ark saved humanity and all the animals from certain annihilation during an ancient flood. Now, 5,000 years after those floodwaters supposedly receded, scientists claim to have discovered the location of the famous boat. An international team of researchers claims that a boat-shaped mound 18 miles, 30 kilometers south of Mount Ararat in Turkey is actually the fossilized remains of a wooden vessel. The Durupinar Foundation is a 163 meter, 538 feet geological structure made of a type of iron ore called limonite. It has long captivated researchers due to the fact that its shape and structure almost match those given for the Ark in the Bible. Now, new evidence show that the mound really did experience a devastating flood 5,000 years ago. This supports the biblical account of a flood covering the region between 3,000 and 5,500 BC. Our studies show that this region harbored life in that period, and that at some point it was covered by water, which reinforces the possibility that a catastrophic event of great magnitude occurred, the researchers
Oh,
said.
we know that already. We already know that the Great Deluge was real because it's.
Right?
I mean, there's evidence all over, archaeological evidence all over, um, and not only that, but it's not just the Bible that gives you the story.
Yeah.
Where it's throughout many of myths within the ancient cultures way back when. Like every culture has a great deluge. So but the fact that they may have discovered Noah's Ark, that kind of
It's quite
opens
interesting.
that opens the book quite literally wide open.
I have actually got a bonus article here. I'll read after, and we're done with this one. If you're interested, it's kind of interesting. It's related, but
Mm.
it says scientists say that a large boat-shaped geological structure could be the remains of the Noah's Ark, as a new evidence shows the area was flooded 5,000 years ago. He's got an illustration here. According to the Bible, Noah's Ark saved humanity and all the animals from certain annihilation during the ancient flood. It's got a map here. Since 2021, a collaboration between Istanbul Technical University, R.G. Ibrahim Season University, and Andrews University in the United States has been studying the site under the banner of the Mount Ararat and a Noah's Ark research team. During the 7th International Symposium on Mount Ararat and Noah's Ark, researchers presented new evidence that could support their theory that the structure is an ancient ship. Researchers took 30 samples of soil and rock from around the Duraprian formation and sent those to the Istanbul Technical University for analysis. Tests show that the soil contains traces of clay-like material, marine deposits, and even remnants of marine life, such as molluscules. Sorry, I don't speak Italian. Dating these samples showed that they were between 3,500 and 5,000 years ago. This suggests that the Duraprian formation and surrounding areas were covered by water in a time period consistent with the biblical account. According to literal interpretations of the Bible, the world was covered with water during the Chalcolithic period, a time stretching from 5,500 to 3,000 BC.
That was pretty good.
Professor Farouk Kaya said, according to the initial results, it's believed that there were human activities in this region since the Chalcolithic period. And it says the Durapan formation is a 163 meter, 538 foot geological structure made of a type of iron ore called limonite. The Durapan.
So hold up. Say that again.
The Durapan formation is 163 meters, 538 feet, a geological structure made of a type of iron ore called limonite.
So basically, this boat wasn't wood, completely wood.
Yeah.
It was iron. It was made out of, it wasn't metal. That's very interesting. Yeah. And it would make a lot more sense of why it would be more sturdier during a great flood.
Yeah. Just a second. The Durapan formation roughly matches the shape and dimensions of the ark given in the Bible. New analysis of soil samples from the area show that this region was underwater 3,500 to 5,000 years ago. during the supposed time of the biblical flood. If true, this would strengthen the claim that the Durepnar Formation is the exact boat used by the biblical figure Noah to survive the ancient flood. Besides this new evidence, the main argument in favor of Noah's Ark's theory are the shape and location of the Durepnar Formation. In the Bible, Noah is instructed to build a boat which has a length of 300 cubits in width 50 cubits and its height 30 cubits. Although conversions from biblical units are difficult, some scholars have chosen to interpret this as using the standardized Egyptian cubit of 52.4 centimeters. Using those units, the length of Noah's Ark would be 515 feet, 157 meters, which is close to the 168 meters, 538 feet of the Durepnar Formation. Additionally, biblical account states that the Ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The Durepnar Formation is located just 18 miles south. Sorry. It's located just 18 miles south, 36 kilometers from Mount Ararat, Turkey's highest peak. Since its discovery in 1948, that's how long they've been trying to get this determined. These factors have led many to theorize that the boat-shaped geological structure is really the fossilized wood of Noah's Ark. And it's just repeating the same line. Geologists strongly contend that the theory and argue that the Durepnar Formation can be explained by natural physical processes. However, this latest evidence is far from conclusive. Professor Kaya admits, with the dating, it is not possible to say that this ship is here. Likewise, the Noah's Ark theory has been strongly criticized by geologists who argue that the Durepnar Formation is nothing more than a natural geological feature. In a 2016 article,
that's a very unique natural feature.
It is. In a 2016 article, Professor Lawrence Collins of California State University, Northridge, showed that the boat-like structure.
It also it shows it judging by draw up to the picture up there one more time. Yeah. As you can tell. And I mean, I could go into Genesis and go read off the measurements of what the boat was supposed to be built as, but I mean, can you tell? I can kind of tell you where the bow and the stern is. I mean, that looks like a freaking boat, dude.
Yeah.
Or ship, I should say. Ark.
Yeah, Ark's probably the best term. In a 2016 article, Professor Lawrence Collins of California State University, Northridge, showed that the boat-like structure is actually formed by the erosion of the surrounding bedrock by landsliding debris. Additionally, as Professor Collins points out in a separate study, geological evidence clearly showed that the supposed Ark is much older than the surrounding flood deposits. Finally, as many researchers have pointed out, it takes millions of years for the wood to fossilize into stone. So the Ark cannot have petrified in just 5,000 years. However, the Mount Ararat...
I totally forgot about that. Wood does actually eventually fossilize, so it would make sense. But it's interesting that it fossilized into an iron ore. I'm not a scientist or a geologist, so I don't really know how that's possible, but that is interesting that it morphed from wood, and as it petrified through the ages, through the centuries, the millennia, 5,000 years later, they're discovering iron ore. So I don't know if that's a point to say that maybe the boat itself may have been somewhat metal. Or if that's just how the wood petrified, and maybe that's just within the deposits around Mount Ararat, or Ararat is iron ore, which actually would be good for Turkey.
Yeah.
Go on. My bad. I keep on
However,
interrupting you.
no, you're fine. However, the Mount Ararat and Noah's Ark research team insists that more study is needed to continue to raise funds for a visitor center on the site.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if this is a extension or okay, this is. The Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered between
Seen them.
1946 and 1956 and date back 2,000 years. Discovered between 1946 and 1956, the Dead Sea Scrolls are a collection of 972 ancient manuscripts dating back to 2,000 years ago. The texts include tens of thousands of parchment papyrus fragments, and in rare cases, entire manuscripts. I think this is related. They contain parts of what is now known as the Hebrew. Sorry.
It's somewhat related. Yeah.
Yeah. They contain parts of what is now known as the Hebrew Bible, as well as a range of extra biblical documents. The scrolls were found by shepherd Muhammad Ed Dahib. I didn't think that's pronounced right. As he searched for searched for a stray among the limestone cliffs at Karabat Karaman on the shores of the Dead Sea in what was then British Mandate Palestine, now the West Bank. Touches back to what we were talking about yesterday. The story goes that in a cave in the dark crevices of a steep rocky hillside, Muhammad hurled a stone into the dark interior and was startled to hear the sound of breaking pots. The Dead Sea Scrolls, which include tens of thousands of parchments and papyrus fragments, file photo contains. Let me pull the file photo here. Contained parts of what is now known as the Hebrew Bible. They also feature a range of extra biblical, it's just repeating this stuff from before. Venturing inside, a young Bedouin found a mysterious collection of large clay jars in which he found old scrolls, some wrapped in linen and blackened with age. The texts have since been excavated by archaeologists who are now racing to digest their content before they deteriorated beyond legibility. Texts are a great historical and religious significance, include the earliest known surviving copies of biblical and extra biblical documents, as well as preserving evidence of diversity in late Second Temple Judaism. Dated between 408 BC and 318 AD, they are written in Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek, and Nabatean. Sorry. Like I said, I don't speak Italian. Mostly on parchment, but with some written on papyrus and bronze. The scrolls are traditionally divided into three groups. Biblical manuscripts, which are copies of texts from the Hebrew Bible, comprise 40% of the whole. It's got a little map here. The Dead Sea Scrolls were found by shepherd Muhammad Ed Dahib. I think that's pronounced. Sorry. As he searched for a stray among the limestone cliffs. And like I said, this is repeating from before. So let's go ahead and stop sharing that for right now.
But as far as Noah's Ark potentially being discovered, this puts together the greatest prophecy fulfillment in biblical studies history. Like, this is, if true, and this is the aforementioned historical archaeological evidence of the biblical Noah's Ark, a lot of atheistic and agnostic secular statist scientists are going to be pissed off because they've done their due diligence to either prove the existence that there are no God or try to articulate whether or not maybe there is a God. And the Noah's Ark scenario, if the Noah's Ark ruins found at the top of Mount Ararat, if this is the Ark itself, which it sounds like it is, it even looks like a boat. Like, it looks like the ruins. And you're talking 5,000 years of petrification, of fossilization of wood. So it makes sense. So if this is Noah's Ark, that's a lot of pissed off atheists that wanted to always believe in nothing and in their sad little negative lives, just thrown out the window. Like, what do
Yeah.
you believe in? What if you, through your lack of belief, what do you believe in as a atheist if this is true?
I mean, I guess they believe in offending people, but that's kind of a cheap, outlet. Something to, not much.
There's really not a whole lot to hold on to. That is funny. Like, at least in the online sphere, the quote unquote atheists online, they're all about offending people and downgrading mostly Christianity. I don't know why they don't. A lot of them on the in the online circles of social media don't don't talk shit about other religions. I
Right.
mean, or even other monotheistic religions. It is quite intriguing that most atheists will not say a single negative thing about Judaism. But by God, if it comes to Islam or Christianity, they got something to say, man. Makes me think
Yeah.
if the idea of atheism began with Jews.
Well, let's go ahead and cycle into our next article here. Hold on just a second.
But no, but while you're looking that up, the fact of the matter is like I don't care what you want to believe in or the lack of belief, but I mean, by all means, it takes a lot of faith to believe in nothing. But I will say to the single greatest, and I'm gonna let you zoom in on that, and then we'll bring it back. But but I will say this is sort of a slap to the face. This actually helps Ken Ham on this on this run, but this is kind of a Ken Ham's kind of a nut job. But the Creation Museum,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a slap to the face to everybody's favorite science guy. Bill Nye, the science guy. I used to
He's not
like
even
Bill
a
Nye when I was
scientist,
a
he's an
kid.
engineer.
He's
I
barely
don't
an
know if there's wrong
engineer.
with being engineers, but don't put yourself over
No.
as a scientist if you're actually just an engineer.
Well, the reason he gets put over is because he had the show Bill Nye the Science Guy, and that went over real well. And honestly, when I was a kid, when we were kids, and that was on, that was a great show to watch for just basic scientific concepts to learn in a learning scenario of watching on television. So it was a great educational piece on like PBS to be able to get enamored into the basic sciences. So you got to give Bill Nye credit for that. You got to give his executive producers credit for that, propelling him into that hosting position. Because like Bill Nye the Science Guy, you can't deny it. It was the shit, dude. And it really did. It brought a lot of. It did actually create a lot of scientists of our day and age to branch into that research field nowadays as
Is
they've
that what?
gotten older. But
Is that why? Is that why it was referenced by the Big Bang Theory?
probably, yeah.
That's
Probably.
exactly what
But
they tried to say in the
but
Big Bang
there
Theory.
but to your point, Bill Nye he's gotten put over, and this is why the world society is just basically WWE. The legacy media is a joke, and pop culture is horrible because it profits off of putting people over for not really bright things, I guess. So like he's a very smart dude. He is an engineer, but he's not this type, and he is a scientist, but not in the scientist, not in the
Not in that
science,
vein.
yeah, not in the science, in the industry of which he propels himself as, that he puts himself over as. So, but I will have to say, about this article, if true, and this is Noah's Ark, Bill, you've been had. Ken Ham won.
Oh boy.
Oh boy,
Here we go.
we about to
Are
have
we ready?
we're about to have part 2 of the creationist versus Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Right. Earliest evidence of red dye textile discovered in a Judean cave. Thou shalt make the tabernacle with scarlet, by George Haddad and Samuel McCoy, August 15th, 2024, in English. And see, it's got a picture of
Oh,
the
I've heard of the
material there.
Armstrong. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Armstrong Institute. That's a really good site.
Red-dyed textile discovered in Judea desert. A new joint study conducted by the Israeli Antique Authority, Bar Allen, I guess, University, and the Hebrew University of Jerusalem has revealed the earliest evidence of red dye textiles. A 3,008-year-old textile, radiocarbon dated to between 1954 to 1767 BCE, was dyed with oak scale insects, which researchers had linked to the biblical scarlet worm, Talat. I don't speak Hebrew. Sorry, Hashani, or well, it's like I said, it's in Hebrew. Mentioned in over 25 biblical passages. The rare textile is less than 2 centimeters wide, about the size of a postage stamp, and was originally found in 2016 in the Cave of Skulls in the Judean desert. The bright red color caught the attention of archaeologists. I mean, if you caught the attention of from the size of a post stamp, that's pretty bright. The excavation in the caves of the skulls with a rare fabric was discovered in this picture, which is really kind of cool. Biblically, the use of red is often mentioned in conjunction with the blue, techelet, and purple, argamon, all of which are precious in the ancient world. Exodus 26:1 details the scarlet color used in the tabernacle. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twine linen, in blue and purple and scarlet, which cherubim is the work of the skillful workman, shall thou make them. In Exodus 28:5, the same color is mentioned again in reference to the priestly garments. And they shall take the gold and the blue and the purple and the scarlet and then the fine linen. The Hebrew word for both passages refers to the scarlet worm. Even before Moses, the Bible indicates the existence of scarlet-colored fabrics. In Genesis 38 records, Genesis 38 records one of the twin sons of Judea having a scarlet thread tied to Judah. I'm sorry, having a scarlet thread tied to his arm. These events would have occurred during or just after the period in which these fabrics were dated. Professor David Illes wrote, although it was discovered that Israel has a native species of scale insects living on Palestinian oak, Corson caliprinus, capable of producing a red-orange dye color, the analytics results indicate that in the cave at hand, the species of scale insect is Kermis vermilio, which lives on the Kermis oak tree. Corsica's, I'm sorry, I don't. Cochifera. I don't speak Latin. This tree species is common in the central and eastern Mediterranean region, including Spain, France, and other areas, but is not found in the lands of Israel. The presence of these dyes, which could not have been produced in Israel, indicate that there were trade connections between Mediterranean powers during the Middle Bronze Age. The Bible and other historical sources mention the use of insect-dyed red textiles, but very few textiles dyed with Kermes insects that predate the Roman period have been found worldwide. Most red dye at the time was extracted from madder. Hey, William. A herbaceous plant. Yeah, he was talking about madder on the World Blockchain Roundtable.
Oh, yeah.
Herbaceous plant belonging to you got to drink some coffee. Belonging to the Rubaceae family. Like I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak Italian. Dye produced. Yeah.
Hold on. I will say before you continue on and finish this, to coincide with today and the evils of man, where I think it is, and us discovering all of this. I think there's a purpose, and then just to coincide with all of this discovery that's happening. This is Genesis 6, verse 7. So the Lord said, I will blot out man, whom I have created from the face of the ground, man and beast, and creeping things, and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. I am sorry that you made them too, Lord.
Yeah.
I believe you're at dye produced.
Yeah, dye produced from matter is not nearly as vivid as the dye extracted from these scarlet worms, but it was also less laborious. The rich hues of these insect-dyed fabrics and the minuscule amount of dye that comes from each insect would have made these textiles expensive. Another evidence of the value of these insect-dyed red fabrics is that they have never been discovered before, unlike rich blue and purple textiles. Proverbs 31:21 says that those in the household of a virtuous and industrious woman are clothed with scarlet. The researchers were able to identify the origin of the red dye through a technique called high pressure liquid chromatography. Sorry. In an HPLC test, various liquid compounds are pushed through about 3 to 5 microns of sample material. The sample's reaction to various substances separate into it into other parts before they are passed through a series of detectors. The detectors produce
She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her households are clothed in scarlet. She makes herself coverings, her clothing in fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. That would be 21 to 25, Proverbs 31. I just wanted to read that.
Oh, you're fine.
Go on.
The detectors produce graphs, which scientists can analyze to determine the exact chemical recipe of the sample materials. Curators of the organic material collection at the Israel Antiques Authority, Dr. Naim Sukanik said, this advanced analytical method enables us to pinpoint the dye's origins down to the exact species of scale insect. Thus, we can determine with high probability that in ancient times the textile was dyed using a species of Kermes vermilio, which produces carmicic acid, imparting the distinctive red hue. The important find bridges the gap between written sources and the archaeological discoveries, providing evidence that the ancient textiles dyeing industry was already at this stage sufficiently established for dyeing using animals. The rare textile is a testament to broad international commercial networks functioning already at this time, and indicates the presence of an elite society. Dr. Uri Dr. Uri Davidovich, an excavating director at the Cave of the Skulls on behalf of the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, reported, although it is difficult to know how this textile arrives in the desert cave, it is significant evidence of ancient knowledge in dyeing wool fabrics using scale insects to achieve the red color as early as the Middle Bronze Age, about 3,800 years ago. It's got a picture, it looks like, of the insects here. An image of several Kermes vermilio specimens. This insect was used in the ancient world to produce a highly value red dye. These textiles, which predate Moses, violate one of the laws provided for clothing in the Torah. The two basic components of woven cloth are the warp and the weft. The warp yarns would be vertical and held taut by loom weights. The weft threads were then weaved between these warp yarns, forming a cloth. These particular fabrics were made out of linen wrap yarns and woolen weft threads. Deuteronomy 22:11, however, states, "Thou shalt not wear mingling stuff, wool and linen together." Though these textiles predate the Torah, they confirm that the mixing of wool and linen was a common practice, as were many of the customs forbidden in the Pent. I don't how do you pronounce that, Zach? Pentateuch. Pentateuch. Yes.
Pentateuch.
Sorry. It takes ideal conditions for ancient textiles to survive. The microclimate of the Cave of the Skulls was dry enough to prevent any decomposition of these fabrics. Now these fabrics can corroborate a few simple facts stated in the Bible. For instance, this discovery shows that it was not an anachronism for the Israelites to have used insect-based dye in producing fabrics for the temple. Even the son of Judah absolutely could have had an insect dye scarlet thread tied to his arm. The discovery also validates that the Middle Bronze Age was not a time where drab, dull or dowdy apparel was universal, nor were tribes or nations isolated. Rather, the presence of precious red fabrics attests to a gentrified class that could acquire the luxurious goods via trade. In other words, these fabrics exhibit a development of trade-friendly society in the Middle Bronze Age Near East. We are currently hosting, and they're just talking about a program they're hosting. So, I mean,
Well, look at that, man. We're just proving the Bible every day.
Capitalism's been along for a long ride.
Excuse me, capitalism. Capitalism's been around since 1850.
Markets.
Yeah. Capitalism has been around since Marx coined it in Das Kapital to give a derogatory term for the bourgeoisie, which he has kind of a point because he steals almost everything from Pierre Proudhon and Mikhail Bakunin.
See, this is the point of difference between me and Zach. I'm fast and loose with ideas, and he's straight and to the point about everything.
I'm literal, and by God, may Christ give me strength.
That's right.
Philippians 4:13.
1 Samuel 20:30.
1 Samuel 20. What does that say? Here, actually. You know what? Let's read it. I have the Ascension app on my phone. I also have the Essential Bible. So when the grid falls and I can't use the app, I got the Bible right there, man. But sometimes it's just so easy. But what was that? Samuel what?
1 Samuel 20:30.
That's right. 1 Samuel 20:30.
I've got 4 Bibles right here. Well,
you got 4 Bibles? I got all the books, buddy.
I'm just saying, I've got more Bibles. It's just the ones that are right behind me that I can grab.
You said 20:30, right?
1 Samuel 20:30. Dang you, Facebook.
Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said to him, "You, son of a perverse, rebellious woman, do I not know that you have chosen the son of Jesse to your own shame and to the shame of your mother's nakedness?"
Hey,
what does that mean to you?
This podcast is all about shame. It's the ancient way of saying son of a... Well, we'll keep it at that.
Yeah, it's the ancient way of saying shame is a wonderful thing. It brings about the humility of us all. One of the deadliest sins that you could ever articulate is that of pride. And it is okay to be proud in everything that you work hard for, everything that you are able to build, I guess. but pride in itself should be limited. You should limit yourself to acknowledging the good that you have done, the good that your family has done. You do things in life to get things done. I mean, there's a benefit to living and surviving and existing and finding purpose, but sometimes we have to be shamed to bring us back down a peg and realize we're just human beings, man. We're not better than each other. We can be better than each other in certain aspects of our life. We can definitely know more. I know more things about certain things than Andrew. Andrew knows more things about other topics than me. We're all experts in something depending on where we put our energy and our drive. And our intelligences into. So it's good to be shamed every once in a while, and it's also good to use that shame as humor because if you're not laughing at yourself, then what is the point of life, man? What is the point of life? And the reason I'm going off of this monologue now, since you brought that up, the shame thing, is it is Lenten season. We are on the road to Easter, the great uh, suffering, crucifixion, and the ultimate sacrifice of Christ, of Jesus, for which he resurrected and restored uh, heaven and earth together, redeemed us of our original sin through the greatest sacrifice of them all. He was the Lamb of God. And this Lenten season, as a Catholic, you're told and actually not even Catholicism, period, but it's really, really beaten into you as a Catholic. But during the Lenten season as a Christian, one thing that it is foretold of you to do is give up something, fast from something. Doesn't matter what it is. What do you not necessarily need that you can give up for 40 days, 40 nights until Holy Thursday at least. Well, actually, I would say Easter, but at least Holy Thursday, right? Good Friday. And one thing that I am trying to give up is being proud. Is my pride. Be more to be more humble amongst others, and to stand tall on the aspect that I don't know everything. I'm never gonna know everything. I'm not better than you. And every little waking thing that I do that is a success in my own life is just a success in my own life. I don't need to go any further than that. I don't need to be glorified for every little waking thing. I just need to understand that I'm just living life. I'm just building blocks. I'm just building certain blocks of my life. I'm getting through certain steps, right? But that's it. I need to still come down to earth because there's always a chance that even through your successes, you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes, and you have to build on those mistakes in order to create more successes. And you cannot come out of your own head thinking that you're better than this and that, and I did this and I'm better than you. Like, you have to limit the pride. Have some humility and understand there are people that are just as good as you in whatever capacity that you build yourself upon. We're all human.
We are.
So with that being said, because we have gone way over time yet again on the legacy news, let us close out by symbolizing these great stories that Andrew has read and has discovered, because it is a building
And
block of something more to life. No matter what your belief is, there is something out there. There is knowledge out there that we have yet to discover. And is the Bible fulfilled? I don't know. Maybe. Andrew?
step in the right direction. Any progress is good progress, and we're validating it every day.
Amen to that. So, with that, God bless all of you. Jump on YouTube, like and subscribe to our channel, The Legacy Right. Join the conversation in our Legacy News playlist. Find all the episodes. There's an archive. Um, check out this show on YouTube every time it premieres at 5 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This episode for Tuesday, March 11th, right?
Mm-hmm.
At 5 p.m. Join the conversation. Drop a comment. Let us know your perspective, because that's what this is all about. This is more for you, not us. We're just giving our perspective. What is your perspective? What is your opinion? What do you have to say about this? Join, drop a comment, and hopefully drop a like. It helps us in the algorithm, helps us spread this content. And then subscribe so you can ring that bell and be notified every day when we drop some more content. So, and then who knows? Maybe you'll turn around and you'll create your own content that's maybe even better than ours, and we can
Right?
all share it. We can all share every one of our content, everything that we put out for a message of truth.
Justice in the American way.
Oh, rest in peace, Thomas Paine. So rest in peace, because it's time to revive common sense.
Yep. Thanks for
Live
watching,
long and
guys. See you later. Peace.
peace.